All pick.
This might prove a sport of some interest. I proceed.
Prepare for battle.
Exactly so. I venture forth. I go at will. Very well. We are in accord. With alacrity. My move. Absolutely. Just so.
First blood.
Greetings. Indeed.
Well, look who's first.
I find myself strangely drawn to this odd configuration of activity. Commendable notion. We are in accord.
Time to punch.
Behold! Destroy! Exactly so. I proceed. I go at will. Middle is missing. Stay and amuse me. Just so. Here I am. Silence. Commendable notion. My move. Attack! In pursuit. Absolutely. A welcome transformation. Fair game. With alacrity. I venture forth. For me? Indeed. Very well. They shall regret this. Middle is missing. Exactly so. I go at will. Silence. Commendable notion. My turn. Not yours. We are in accord. My move. With alacrity. They deserve no less. I accept. I have much to impart. Absolutely. Very well. After them. I venture forth.
Radiant
Indeed.
structures are fortified.
Just so. Don't run! Sight! Strength out of season. Don't run! Tia! I proceed. I proceed. Double harm shall I deal? Exactly so. Indeed. Just so. Commendable notion. Excuse me, Cypher. See you in the spring. Absolutely. With alacrity. Bottom is missing. I venture forth. My move. I go at will. Here I am! Very well.
Mission top!
Middle is missing. Destroy. We are in accord. Gather round.
Moving so angry.
Greetings. I venture forth. My move. Bottom is missing. Commendable notion. With alacrity. The vessel proves useful. I proceed. Behold!
I deny you.
Illusion! Exactly so. Very well.
Mission top!
I have much to impart. After them. Indeed.
Mission top!
Absolutely. Just so. Attack! I go at will. We are in accord.
Dire team pick.
Draw against TNC up next as well.
Has Geek fam, they aren't messing around, giving Zephyr that Rubik straight off the bat, and they do actually manage to get a Razor, which I've got to tell you, John, every game we've watched, this Razor is first phase banned. This time around, though, not so much. It is actually one of the known heroes to be quite potent in the new patch.
Yeah, it's a strong one to have. There is a lot of value in that here now. They have made it much easier to just run and gun with a Razor, so I can see why that has been banned out. You are going to have a bit of a rough time up against, I guess, the Venge. The swap could consistently break your links as the game goes on, but it's not the... No, it's not the end of the world when that happens. You still have a lot more in your kit that does make you viable, so it's a great pick from Geek fam. It's interesting to see them finally pick that one up. We'll see just how well they can run this hero.
Certainly. Of course, Adroit, the Lena Venge opening, fairly standard but fairly strong in this patch as well. So a nice little opening from them. Not really revealing too much as of yet to the side of Geek fam, so I do like the little mystery around Adroit right now. But one more ban and the mystery will probably dissipate, as we will see some more picks. We do see Geek fam banning up that Brood and the Puck. Adroit getting rid of the Abaddon. What else have we got here?
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Get rid of the DK. Fair enough, that DK in multiple games.
Yeah, that has been a consistent issue for a lot of teams. It just does a lot now. I mean, it stays alive too long. It is.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you save the buyback, that is.
Remaining.
Oh boy. Oh man, that last one was just, that was a painful way to end, like, really. But
It was.
what's done is done.
It is.
We are here now, and well, we'll find out just how worthwhile Razor is to ban out. I mean, you really gotta make this worthwhile, Geek fam.
You know what I am surprised about? I thought we'd see more Weaver in this new patch. Not that I'm, happy to see the Weaver if it does pop out, but with that item, and I'm not sure if this is how it works, but with that Helm of the Undying that you can pick up from the neutral camps, if Weaver stays alive 5 seconds after dying, if he just time lapses, excuse me, then does that not mean he just comes back to life?
What you're saying is if you die and then buy back and time lapse.
No, not the buyback. The Helm of the Undying keeps you, after you're dead, it allows you to still be active for 5 seconds.
Dire team pick.
No?
You're already dead. It's like the Raid King ult with the Ags, so you're already dead. Any lifesteal you get's not improving your HP, it's 0. You're just gonna die after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There goes my theory. Adroit, though, they pick up the Drow Ranger, which, I mean, honestly, I feel like the Drow is pretty darn strong this patch. Of course, they did take her Precision Aura away from her, but even the skill, the split shot that they replaced it with, does seem pretty potent, especially once you get into the late game. Just amplifying so much of that base damage that you have. So, Geek fam, you go straight into the Ogre Magi, not much thinking around for them. Pretty standard pick once again, and that'll be the support lineup for Geek fam being picked up.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
That's gonna be an interesting one. I believe this draft from Adroit is shaping up quite nicely. You've got the Venge, the Drow, and the Lina, so you have a lot benefiting from that Venge straight up. You have the Undying to buy you some space in the early game, and that is pretty potent. Geek fam, with the Ogre Magi pickup, it's fairly straightforward, right? You've got a really great right click here in the Razor. You can just run down lanes and farm creep waves quite well. The Ogre Magi is going to allow him to do that much more effectively. You don't have anything to naturally link up to, nothing like a Lifestealer or a Jug or a Slark to just keep yourself close to, so from keeping an enemy core down isn't quite there. I mean, the Drow is a right click here. Of course, you're going to want to try to static link her up. But she can kind of kite you around with Gust and with her Frost Arrows, so we'll see how well that goes.
Well, fourth pick for Geek Fam, they're thinking about quite heavily. But they're still yet to pick up 2 more cores for themselves. Of course, with the Razor, you can pretty much put the Razor in any lane.
Radiant team
So it is
back.
quite versatile, but they're gonna go after the Venomancer, which we've been seeing pop out very, very often. Surprisingly not banned, and well, we saw Cuckoo before on this Veno. He didn't go for that jungle style build, he rather just went to the off lane and played it in lane. It did end up working out for them quite well, so why the hell not go back to it?
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, definitely so. I don't see any major issues with this one.
5 seconds
Again,
remaining.
just based on how Geek Fam ran it last time, does look like they have a certain way of playing it, which is a bit different from everyone else. Everyone else just tends to try to jungle up, get an early item going, and try to build off from there. Geek Fam tends to be just a bit more aggressive with that one. They tend to go for the QW build, much more the Gale build over the Wards build. So you have a lot more laning presence coming out there with the heroes they have so far. That is going to apply a lot of pressure in these lanes. The Razor is already just really great. He has really great presence in the lane. The Ogre Magi as well. So you can see Geek Fam really trying to get that early momentum their way. Adroit kind of has that going for themselves as well, just with the Undying. That's enough to make me say that they want their laning phase to at least go fairly smooth,
Dire team
and they
back.
kind of do just want to secure themselves a good start.
Well, there's a Sven ban coming out from Adroit. So we saw the Sven once today, really wasn't doing too well. They'll still ban it out anyway, they don't want to have to deal with it. Fair enough. Geek Fam, final ban for them. Still 1 minute of reserve time left if they wish to use it.
10 seconds.
What are we
remaining.
playing at here?
5
Adroit, it
seconds
does seem like they're
remaining.
just looking for an off lane. Unless you're putting the Venge off and you're going to go for another mid, run the leaner support, could also be viable.
Something, I suppose. We'll see how exactly they do close out, but you already have a pretty solid lineup from Adroit. Like, either way they run it, I think it's going to be pretty solid. Although I think you'd want to be a bit traditional, put the Drow down safe and the Lina down mid. I think that's still the best outcome here for Adroit, but they still have a little bit of flex here.
My concern for Adroit, though, they are very squishy. Like, apart from the Undying, oh my. Well, that was kind of what I was worried about, John. Like a Chaos Knight, just going to Reality Rift it. Rift, or is it Reality Rift? No, the Rift is the Chaos Rift is what I'm talking about. We've cut too much RR. The Rift from Chaos Knight going to be able to close the gap on this Drow and basically just burst her in
10
one hit
seconds remaining.
is somewhat concerning for Adroit. I don't see a way.
5
I don't see
seconds
any
remaining.
counters toward the CK as of yet either. It's going to be very dangerous for this Radiant side.
Yeah, definitely is. I like that last pick from Geek Fam. A lot of value there, and Mike, it is Reality Rift, the spell name.
Wow.
So yeah, I remember a time we were casting Reality Rift, and they were playing against a CK, or they had a CK, and it sounded like we were saying the same thing over and over again because, well, you know, it was the same damn name. Adroit, they close out with Sand King. That does give them some way of dealing with the Chaos Knight. I have to say it's not the smoothest way of handling that, but talking at here, and you know, he has done some good work on that Sand King. We've seen it before, so we'll see exactly how much Adroit can get done here. Geek Fam looking a bit stronger than draft. Raven on that Chaos Knight is going to be a bit of an issue for Adroit, and they're just pretty much set to just run and gun, right? They want to run down these lanes, they want to get an early start, they want to end this game fast. Adroit, they want to secure themselves that good start, but they do want to get some farm going, especially on Natsumi first. It does look that way, so we'll see who exactly does come on top in that laning phase and gets control Because once if Geek Fam gets control, then it's going to be very easy for them to run over. They have very early power spikes. They can just take control of the game and run away from there. Adroit, you know, they've got strong laners. They've got the Undying. He's really potent on lane, despite me really not liking the hero so far as he goes right now. But if you play your cards right, you can really shut down the enemy cores.
If I may comment on the Sanking last pick, by the way, John, that's a Sanking into a Rubik. I'm kind of concerned a bit about that. Like, you're giving a Burn Strike away to Zephyr, who tends to steal these spells quite easily. I'm not sure about this from Adroit.
Yeah.
I don't have much confidence in this draft.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to pull off for Adroit. I do favor Geek Fam as well. I think their draft is just much better lined up or planned out. And, you know, you've got Zephyr Rubik. As you mentioned, I mean, sure, Adroit has Bok Sand King, which is pretty darn good as well. Up against Rubik, though, it's just going to be that much harder for Adroit to find that opening they need.
This is all going to pan out as the game is going to start. See how they're going to lane these as well. It looks like Natsumi is making a beeline straight to the off lane as the Drow. So perhaps running an aggressive off lane here from Adroit should make enough sense. Just trying to shut down the Chaos Knight very, very early on. They'll send Mac mid on the laner, and they are going to send Bok down to the bot lane as the Sand King. He'll be by himself for a while, I'm sure. And everything else on the side of Geek Fam is fairly standard. I mean, Cuckoo's there on the Veno in the off with Zephyr. You'll see Ryoya on the Razor mid lane, and of course, we'll find Raven on the CK up there with his support Ogre being played by Dubu. Raven does have to be a little bit careful as there are 3 heroes around him right now, but he's just chilling out of the tree line.
Yes.
30 seconds to battle.
Adroit. This is going to be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties. Nothing too special to start us off. Both teams just happy to get those bounties and go back into lane. Seems Adroit are pretty dead set on this tri-lane for a while at least. Natsumi will stick around up there. So they are going to really just try and focus on making sure Raven can't get any farm. And I feel like that is quite a smart decision to make. I wonder, how did Geek Fam really react to this? As they've currently got a tri-lane at the bot lane, but I don't think they're anywhere near as important as supporting Raven on the CK. But
Yeah.
I'll bring the Ogre up now.
And it's very hard for Raven to sustain his level 1 up against all these heroes. It's his weakest hero.
They're trying to go for a first blood straight off the bat. The missed bolt does connect. Raven just trying to make a run for it. He's pretty darn close to dying. CML needs one more decay, I believe, and he will find it. It'll be a very early first blood to the side of Adroit. Geek Fam, they tried to punish, but it was to no avail. With these tri-lanes, it'll be a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation, but versing an Undying in the tri-lane is not the easiest of tasks.
Yeah, this is honestly something I feel like is a bit of a mistake from Geek Fam. They still keep Raven up top, but they're forced to tri-lane versus tri-lane, which gives Undying a huge advantage. I feel like they'd be better off just throwing Cuckoo up top, giving him the harder time, and have Raven 1v1 the Sand King. It's still not easy for Raven, but it's a bit more manageable, although Bok is having a hard time there.
Yeah, Cuckoo finds a kill just solo onto Bok. Not the greatest of news for the Sand King, dying this early onto the Venomancer. He's only at level 2 right now as well. Still, Geek Fam looking to go at it again with Adroit. CML gonna oblige. He's gonna be very happy to run into 3 heroes like this. More decay stacks to be taken. But Raven does not care. He wants to fight back. Problem is, he has 16 stacks right now. He's a very, very tanky Undying. Just not a very easy target whatsoever to try and go for. Of course, looking over to the mid lane while we have a chance. Mac will be there on the laner, going up against Ryoya. does look like the lane is running very evenly right now. Rio, you're finding himself slightly ahead by about 3 last hits. Overall, it is just very hard to contest the Razor in lane no matter what you're playing.
Yeah, it's always going to be rough, and the Razor just has ways of still finding farm. Blasting Field does a good enough amount of damage that you can really use that to secure your last hit quite safely. Although, up top, Dubu is in a spot of trouble. Looks like he should be able to run away, though.
He certainly is. He's trying to deny himself off, but Boomy was close. Not close enough. He'll get the deny off on the neutrals. Still Raven. He's been very focused on trying to help his team fight back. I feel like he's got to just try and focus on farm. I mean, just with all this strength stolen, he's doing no damage. And CML continues stealing more. While all this is happening, Natsumi is just happily farming on the Drow. Not concerned whatsoever about what the rest are doing.
This time.
Raven. I mean, it's a CK, right? It's one of those heroes that does require the farm early on to be effective. Once you get to the uber late game, he kind of starts to drop off a bit. You want to really start to snowball throughout the mid game if you can.
Yeah, you really just want to get up and running, get a good timing on your Midas if you're going for that, or on your Armlet, which we do tend to see, although I wouldn't be too surprised if a lot of CKs now fall back to the S and Y. I think there's a lot of value in that if you want to go for it. So you need one of those items real quick, I'd say by the 15-minute mark at the latest, and that's a pretty rough spot for it, even at that.
Now my enemies pay.
Trying to fight back. Again, they always seem to be aiming the Undying. CML is happy to take these hits. Just so darn tanky. They'll go after Dubu again on the Ogre, and yeah, he's just gone. There's no surviving that. And I mean, you mentioned it before. Why not switch Cuckoo over to this safe lane and just make him suffer? Give the Raven CK a bit more space. It seems like Geek Fam are just going to stick with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit too far into the lane now to really swap it out. It's going to be a massive issue for Raven, though. CK is not a flash farming hero. He just doesn't accelerate and farm that fast. So if you fall behind too far back, it's a struggle to play catch-up. That's just the nature of CK. That's his one great weakness. You need a Midas or you're going to go bust.
Money to burn.
I'll take your tribute.
Are you even trying?
Still trying. He's only found 12 last hits and 2 denies in this CK in comparison to the 20 and 11 of Natsumi. Of course, luckily for the side of Geek Fam, the Razor is still having a pretty darn good time in mid, but so is Mac. I mean, Mac has actually overtaken Ryoya now. So the only lane they're really winning on the side of Geek Fam is the off lane, where Cuckoo is beating out Bok. It's not even that hard though. So I'm not sure how Geek Fam intends to catch up after this laning stage. They seem to have some kind of game plan because they're just keeping this lane up.
It's hard to tell. Really, mainly because we've seen a lot of teams try to force this out with the CK before. Now, they still hit a massive power spike once they have a couple of items. Trailing too far behind. I think a lot of this game is now going to be riding off the back of Ryoya. He's got to pick up the pace on this Razor. You've got to see Cuckoo really step up in the plate with the Venomancer as well. He needs to buy that space as this game goes on for Raven to get bigger.
Again, you see CML copying some from Dubu, though they'll switch around, go after the Venge instead. It's a much easier target, and they will find Boomy. Now the Tombstone as well. Nice bit of gold going to Raven if he can find it, and he does. And now, well, they'll go after Natsumi. Why the hell not? They don't have the stun though, so instead they run back towards CML. Again, he's just way too tanky to even try and take down. And to make matters worse, Mac has rotated up. He will find a support trade for the side of Adroit. It will end up being a 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's a really early rotation coming down from our mid, but it does pay off. You get one nice kill, you get yourself back in that mid lane, you don't really miss out on too much, and you're just going to be very happy with that. You keep slowing down Raven, You keep getting Natsumi that farm they want, although it's not a massive lead over this CK, but it still is a lead, especially in terms of denies. We really are starting to build up here on this drought.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Looks like Ryoya relegates himself to the jungle for a bit, though Bok let's start creep skipping by himself in the Sand King, but there are rotations coming in. Cuckoo comes in with a Sentry Ward, and Bok, well, he goes to the TP plane. It looks like he probably will make it out. Just one more right click probably would have done the job. Meanwhile, top lane though, Dubu will end up losing his life on the Ogre once again. That's going to make it a 4-2 now for the side of Adroit. They do have a 1k net worth lead at 8 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a nice little start for Adroit. They've got to maintain that momentum. Looks like they are setting up for a very early push onto this tier 1. They're going to be able to get a good amount of damage down there, actually.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Raven actually gets very lucky with the item drop. The Iron Wood Tree, great stats for him. Still though, this T1 tower, there's no saving it. Dubu's just trying to make it hard with the Bloodlust, but it is to no avail. It's definitely going down, and with that, they immediately rotate down bot, where we will see an epicenter being committed by Bok. It won't really lead to anything though, as it was way too slow to close the gap, but perhaps maybe they find Zephyr. Gloomy, getting galed up. I guess at least Cuckoo is drawing a lot of attention away from the top lane, so it does buy Raven some space. Natsumi's still around though, but Raven does finally have a bit of space to try and farm up. But Cuckoo just seems to be that annoying core that drags everyone into that bot lane, but they just can't kill him.
Yeah, I think that is going to pay off if they can maintain this presence from Cuckoo. As long as he doesn't drop this tower fairly quick, it's going to be paying off quite well. The issue with having Raven farm this far forward is the moment anyone TPs to gank the CK, Raven's just dead.
It looks like he is going to be going for an armlet, so he does just want to go for the standard CK build. Tank up, get a bit of extra damage. You'll have Ryoya there as well, of the Razor. They're just going to go ahead and secure those bounties up top.
Money to burn.
Adroit will do the exact same thing down at the bot lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Both sides taking out post each. Pretty sad stuff. So you look at that Lena. Mac's been farming very, very well. 0.4k net worth now on that Lena. Get very close to a Yule Scepter already. She will have some nice timing on that. It looks like we'll actually see a bit of a smoke come out now from Adroit. Both supports smoked up. Where are they headed though? It looks like they may try for Ryoya on the Razor. Although, no, they'll head up top. Raven is there.
Is under attack.
They find it. Magic Missile will connect, and now the Tombstone being dropped as well. Raven needs help desperately, but there's no tower to go to, so he is just gonna die.
Are fortified.
Yeah. I mean, that's the issue when you lose your tier 1 that early on. You just have no safe space to farm up there.
Where else is he farm though?
Yeah, there's no good spot, and that's really the big issue here for Geek fam. From their laning phase, tossing Raven up there, it kind of cost them that early farm. They do have a really good start from Cuckoo though, so this could pay off. I mean, he has BOTs up already. He's switched out to the jungle, is just trying to farm up further, but Raven's still stuck up here up top. He doesn't want to go down bot.
Well, I suppose he's just kind of playing this sacrificial position 1 right now. I mean, he's still finding farm. It's just going to be very, very slow. Closer and closer to that armlet. Look at over to Natsumi though, 4.7k in comparison to the 3.9 of the CK. He will have the Dragon Lance up pretty darn soon. Of course, you've got Ryoya, who's farmed very well on the Razor though. He's got the drums up, going straight into that BKB next. He's going to need to start making work happen with his team very soon as well. I mean, he needs to create some space for the CK. Just seems like there's no real options apart from just taking the risky farm. That Cuckoo who could be in a spot of bother right now as Natsumi will be there with Boomy up the top lane. Cuckoo is a bit of a harder target, but they haven't really been able to find him as of yet. And looks like this won't be the time either.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Me trying to close the gap on Cuckoo. Okay, we'll continue to spam out some Venom wards. It's a very slow game from both sides so far, as neither side really wants to take any risks as of yet. It's both more than comfortable to keep farming up. I feel like that does kind of favor Geek fam though, right? Like not being aggressive towards the CK is just allowing him to catch up.
Yeah, it does play out better for Raven overall. Whereas CK is one of those heroes that really farms best when he's farming heroes. So if you don't force out fights, you're not giving the CK the opportunity to farm those heroes.
Well, Mac will catch out Zeph down at the bot lane, so there goes the Rubik. Nice little kill from him with the Laguna for that. Actually opted to go for the BOTs first rather than the Yules, but he'll have those Yules up pretty soon anyway, and they will gain control of that outpost. Geek Bam just bide their time. It's like Raven though, they finally smoke up. He's got his armlet on the way, but they're not even going to wait for it. They're just going to go straight for a smoke down bot. CML's not really the target they want to go for first, but they may not have a choice, and yeah, they'll just go from straight away. There's the Reality Rift coming in, and CML is gone. Can they find Mac? They definitely can. They'll get the lift off, and Mac just melts. The reactions from the side of Adroit just weren't quick enough. In fact, they might find Bok as well. He burrow strikes north, but Zephyr finds him. They have the rift, and they have the stuns. It's going to be 3 going down for the side of Adroit. And that was kind of what I was worried about for the side of Adroit, John. It just felt like they waited a bit too long to do anything.
Yeah, that's a bit of a strange one. Those fights were not how you'd expect it to go for Adroit. I mean, it's very well played from Geek Fam. That does put them back in the game. Less than 1k lead for them now, 6-5 at 15 minutes in. They are in a pretty decent spot. They're going to be able to shove in this tier 1 as well. And suddenly Raven is going to be that much scarier. He has his armlet up. He still has his ultimate up. He's rushing hard. Timing of that hard. Very hard time dealing with a CK. His illusions are that much tankier as well.
Absolutely. Looks like it might have decided to start grouping up in that mid lane. Raven just going to avoid any kind of fight for now. Get back to farming. Well, Mac. He'll keep farming up himself as well. He's got that Yule's gold up. Just needs to buy out the Void Stone now. Of course, Bok trying to get towards his Blink Dagger on the Sand King. He really hasn't been able to do much as of yet, but once he should be a little more effective. Though interestingly enough, he does skip the Veil of Discord and does go for the Hood of Defiance instead. You would have assumed though that Veil would have really helped, especially with taking that those CK illusions out.
Yeah, it's not a choice I blame him for. I feel like there's a lot of value in just durability here. You are playing against a Veno, and is a lot of damage that can stack up. So you get a lot more value in this game by just increasing your lifespan, and the hook does allow you to do that. You can upgrade it later on as well. So I think that's a reasonable path for Bach to go for.
I suppose I have to agree the pipe is going to be very valuable this game. Blink Dagger will come out on the Sankey. So perhaps now we may see a smoke come out from Adroit. Maybe feeling a lot more confident to try and go for a team fight. BKB though is going to be up on Ryoya. They'll get the tier 1 mid tower. Geek fam looking to punish. They will not be in range though to get any kind of lift. Instead they will smoke up and wrap around through the jungle, but the Bach does cancel that smoke straight away and will burrow strike out of there. That is rather unfortunate for Geek fam, but they won't get anything out of that. They're still trying though. Dubu on the front line, just running by himself from the Yoga. Does he find anybody? Spot out Boomy with that Observer Ward. But Adroit are going to be aware of their presence behind that tree line.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Looks like they'll go for that mid tier 1. They still want to force a fight, but Pop jumps in with the double burrow strike. Now Static King comes down, the Sankey with Dubu is already gone. Still, Boomy has lost his own life on the bench now. An immediate buyback from Dubu on the Ogre.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Phantasm Illusions are ready to go.
Radiant's middle
They'll get the
tower
tier 1, and it looks like Geek Fam will probably just back off after that.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, they've gotten the objective. They did find 1 kill as well. They did force a weird buyback. Dubu, I guess he just wanted to make sure that he was going to be there as needed. Still, they gain a lot of control for Geek Fam back, at least from taking out that tier 1 mid. Should allow them to roam a bit better inside that bot jungle.
Dubu gonna find CML. Does have help coming in. It's Undying, not as tanky as at the start. Cuckoo gets in there as well to slow him down with that poison sting, and now the Gale will connect. And that should be an easy kill on the Undying. The Drow will turn around with the split shot. Won't really amount to anything though.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Both teams once again just going to evenly trade those bounty runes.
Is a great conductor.
1 outpost each. It looks like they're back to farming for now.
Yeah, just take it slow. Both sides do want to kind of build up a bit more. You do see a slight lead now for Adroit, less than 1k, but they are pretty much set up nicely. A lot of that gold is riding in.
Boomy getting swapped by Zephyr on the Rubik, and he just swaps back. He gets swapped back again. Zephyr controlling him up, but he may lose his own life to the Lina. In fact, yeah, he does. It was just enough damage. So 1-for-1 trade on the supports. And all the cores will back off. Some very hesitant play from either side. It's finding a pick off and getting the hell out. No one really feeling overly confident to try and push anything any further. But while this is happening, you look at Raven. He's had a lot of time, John. He's got that Reaver up now. Very close to having the full heart up. And that has got to be a cause of concern for Adroit.
It definitely is, but overall, I feel like Geek Fam's farm still isn't as fast as you'd expect. This is something we've seen a lot of CKs go through as well. I mean, take a look at the positioning of Raven in the net worth graph. Like right now, he's at 4th position, which is not bad, but he's about 1k behind the Drow and 2k behind Max Lina. So he's doing okay. He did have a rough laning phase. It's still not amazing. And once this heart is up, he really has to maximize it and his Phantasm cooldown quite well. Try to force the fights every single time those spells are up, and just try to find as much as he can from kills.
We have another smoke up from Geek Fam. In fact, they have found Boomy on the bench. Not the target they would have hoped for, but they'll have to just suffice with a support pickup. It looks like they'll go for more up at top lane. Raven found himself in his rune. Nobody's really going to be around to go after though. Or perhaps CML will move forward, but he drops a sentry. He'll have detection on the CK. And once again, Adroit, they're just going to back off to safety. No need to rush this for them. But I kind of wonder for Adroit, at what point do you feel the need to actually start going at Geek Fam once again? Because it feels like they've just been on the defense for a very long time.
They are slowly building up though. Like, I think they definitely are escalating a bit faster. You have the Ags up on Natsumi now as well. So outside of that multi-shot, you already have a split shot going on as well. And that could really wreak havoc on those illusions from Raven.
Well, it looks like that's exactly what they were waiting for. See how much it works out for them. They don't exactly have an Maelstrom or something like that to get those extra procs off. So just getting the vision down. They spotted out Dubu on the Ogre. Raven gonna run into vision, and now the smoke breaks heat for there, but he gets the Phantasm. Oh, Burrow Strike immediately after, but they force staff him out, and now Cuckoo gets the Poison Nova, but the epicenter is massive. Raven somehow still alive throughout all this, but it shouldn't last too much longer than no. Zephyr swaps him out, still the zombies will chase him down and take him down. Burrow Strike there on Zephyr as well. They just control the side of Geek Fam, and Cuckoo is left over with Ryoya. They'll clean up Boomy at the very least. But it looks like Cuckoo may end up losing his life to the Drow, and does, and now Ryoya will be the 5th one. A full team wipe coming out for Adroit. And it was just superior vision and superior team fight from Adroit. They just won it up fairly easily.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened there with the CK. He phantasms up, it doesn't matter. Even with that Reaver out, it doesn't matter. The damage from Natsumi right now is way too high. Right, he can just deal with it. It doesn't matter, and that's really the issue I have with the CK. When you're not too far behind right now, but you're behind enough for it to matter, and your impact just isn't that great in these fights. Look, Phantasm's down for 1:10 now. So he's just going to be farming for that time, and that's a lot of time where Adroit could just get a push out, force an unfavorable fight for Geek Fam, and do so much more in the map. It's just a very weird tempo with this hero.
I'll take your
Well, Adroit gonna start going through the bot lane. Feeling much more confident now.
Dire structures.
Of course, Natsumi can take those T1s very, very quickly, just out of range. Exactly what he does.
Dire's bottom tower.
So that'll be the third T1 tower from Adroit being taken. Bok now actually giving tips over to Matt. We do have the blink dagger around on Zephyr though, so you do have a bit more mobility now on the Rubik. It seems to be very important that he gets those burrow strikes and sends it back the way of Adroit. Try and control the team fight from your end of things.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Have a repair kit coming out for Mac. Yep. Healing up those towers, Mac. In fact,
yeah, Ryoya grabs him as well. Ryoya gets a drop as well, and Raven does have his heart up. So that main item is up now. We'll see how much it does impact these fights. It's gonna have really tanky illusions at the forefront now.
Dire are scanning.
It's casually just sitting there at 3.7k. Nothing wrong here. Still though. Is it going to be enough? Adroit, they may just go sneak a Roshan. And that's exactly what they start doing. Natsumi again takes the Roshan very, very quickly, especially thanks to marksmanship. And he has the full BK up now, as well as that Orb of Destruction. This Roshan is just completely melting.
Yeah, no contestation coming out from Geek Fam as well. So that's just a free take for Adroit, and they slowly build up their lead. 5k advantage now at 27 minutes in, 14 to 11 kill board. And it's just looking rough for Geek Fam. Look, their line comes online early on with all the heroes they have. You have Ryoyo, who's really big now. BKB, AC up, and we just haven't seen them do as much as you'd expect with this kind of start. They are behind the net worth now. They are losing towers now. They're not even going for the defense. And Natsumi just eats all of these objectives like it's a buffet.
Adroit gonna remain at the buffet. They haven't had enough yet. Just farming up the dire side jungle. Geek Fam just continuing to farm up, trying to get core items up. You see the AC there on Ryoyo. Cuckoo managed to find a paladin sword. Seemed too broken, that item. But they will give it over to Raven. 17% life still, never really hurt.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still Adroit continue moving forward. Another tier 2 gonna go down for free. There will be no defense from Geek Fam. And look how far Natsumi is attacking from.
Yeah, that's really down to Bumi's aura. Just so much more attack range, 150. It's dumb, and the Hurricane Pike's there as well, so the attack range is just really high.
Radiant are scanning.
Perfectly balanced, Mike.
It certainly is.
Is under attack.
So the biggest thing on my mind now is, when is Geek Fam ready to fight? They are at the deficit. We're at 30 minutes in, arguably when their heroes start to taper off. BKB's already up for the Drow, so you already lose a lot of value from Cuckoo, whose main damage is all magical. So the point is, Geek Fam gonna be comfy because they're playing a farm game against a Drow who already has the Ags, had the Ags way early, can really just accelerate and farm. Alina, who can clear waves and camps much faster than any of your heroes can, except maybe the Venomancer. And I just don't see them escalating in terms of a farm game right now, so they've got to have a game plan in mind. Maybe they just want to catch Adroit by surprise. We have seen this a couple of times where the more impatient team tends to lose out. So perhaps Geek Fam's just waiting for a misstep here from Adroit. They are clumped up in one area. They know where the enemy team is.
Cuckoo will start scouting out with the wards. Adroit holding the ground for now, not really backing off too far.
A gift from the goddess.
Both teams just kind of staring each other down, not really committing to anything. While all that's happening though, bounty runes are going to the way of Adroit as Boom does pick both up at the top lane and of course does secure the outpost. So Adroit are holding on to both outposts as well. They do secure a 7k net worth lead at the 30-minute mark. I suppose at this point we'll have a look at the win probability, and it is 84% the way of Adroit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame the game. I don't blame the AI for that. It's just, it's 31 minutes in. It's a 7k lead for Adroit. We apply that pressure with all these big item pickups that they went through. I mean, their last engagement was quite a while back now. And since Raven got the heart, he's fought, what, like once? It's just, if he was going to farm this much, you don't buy a heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you were going to farm, you would go something else entirely. But instead, he buys the heart's second item and farms. It's just not very efficient. You should be farming heroes.
Well, Natsumi now knocking on the tier 3 tower door. He's just going to hit from a mile away. Natsumi the sniper.
Oh god, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting, John, although they force starting forward, but there's no follow-up to that. You know, at that distance, the arrows should really start dropping off a bit. It's quite a...
Nah, it's a longbow. It's a longbow.
It's
just
a longbow,
the
fair enough.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
John.
He's perfectly fine. She's perfectly fine, and that's a tier 3, just like that. Right clicks from a million miles away. no defense. There is a smoke, but they're on the low ground.
Certainly are. They're looping around. Geek Fam, what's the idea here? They start initiating, but it's Dubu almost losing his life already. They go into the back. They'll find Boomy on the bench. Now CML will be the target. Epicenter, meanwhile, going straight onto Dubu, but he's just controlling after Sand King. Still Raven, trying to go after CML. Meanwhile, down on the river, Max still going after Dubu on this Ogre. He's just running around the tree. It will finally take him out. Bok now just not wanting to be a part of this as Adroit are losing this team fight. It'll be a 3-for-1 trade so far. Mac will BKB up and just run away. Though they pop the drums, they're not done with him yet. They do slow him down with the plasma field. Ryoya, they really want to punish, but he Shadow Blade up. Still, they have the dust, but Mac is still just running. Hurricane Pike, it will be safe.
Natsumi's stuck. He's actually stuck. He forced staff up. He didn't break the freeze. Oh, that sucks. His TP's on cooldown as well.
Well, Mac can go break the trees, but Mac's just waiting it out, it seems.
Finally, there you go. Oh man.
Doing it there, Natsumi. Get the hell out of there. Still playing games.
See, that was a bit scary for Adroit, right? Geek Fam, it was a wonky initiation, but the key thing was that Ryoya got next to the Drow, got the static link off, and for some reason Natsumi could not break that link. So as long as you get that happening, Natsumi just doesn't do damage. Natsumi's not a hero. Drow is not a hero in that case, and that's how Geek Fam would win. They need to keep getting that happen. I think with this Blink Dagger pickup on Ryoya, they can definitely take a lot of these fights. They just have to make sure they get the right targets. Natsumi every single time paired up with Ryoya and just drain that damage away. Suddenly Adroit's not going to be very confident in these fights.
Geek Fam, are they going to make any plays? I mean, we see another smoke coming out from Adroit now. They are going to find Ryoya of all people. Magic Missile is there, and he may just be dead.
Oh, ouch.
Did not react with the BKB for the Magic Missile. With that, he does lose his life. Of course, he does have buyback. But with that death, they may just try and force that buyback out early on. And why not take an outpost while you're down the bot lane?
Yeah, it just gives you so much more to work with. And, you know, right now, it's slow build-up for Adroit. Like, Geek Fam, there are signs of life there. They can't afford to lose Ryoya of all heroes like that. Like, you could lose anyone else. Even Raven, I think, is arguable that he isn't as important as Razor at this point. So you can lose any of those heroes like that, but just not Ryoya. When you lose your Razor, he's the key part of slowing down this Drow. He's the key part to really disrupting these team fights. You've got to watch out. You can't afford to overextend like that on Geek Fam's side.
Illusion.
Raven. He's now sitting at 4.6k HP on the CK. Going for what looks like a Blink Dagger into an MKB. Adroit will just maintain this this dire side jungle. We'll get started. Oh, that's a big burrow strike. Straight onto Rubik. They burst down Zephyr. Raven trying to find a trade, but Natsumi's ripping them apart right now. He gets a distance. Ryoya trying to stand clean, but Natsumi may not care. CML in the middle of all this as well. Natsumi still fighting back. They'll find the Ryoya Razor, and with that, it looks like they will find the Raven CK. This Drow is just hitting so hard.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous just how far they can get, and just a fight like that, all those items that you built up on Raven just gone. You saw Ryoya try to do the right thing there. He did link up Natsumi, but it was just too late. I mean, it just wasn't enough at that point.
Structures are fortified.
Oh, Natsumi, come on, stand back a bit further. That's better.
God, that's balanced.
I love balance in the morning, John.
Oh my God.
There's
Can you imagine if that was actually sniper? Like sniper with a longbow, you know, that neutral drop that gives range and
Don't give them any
advantage,
ideas,
like,
John.
but can you imagine just how bad that is? Like, Jesus.
Dire's bottom barracks.
That's 2 racks. Just like
It
that.
is. Well, there's no buybacks coming out from Geek Fam. They just hold on to them. And with
And this
that,
is another big issue. This is a big issue with the CK, right? Even if you bought back there, he doesn't have Phantasm. So he really just doesn't do as much as you'd want, which is why, again, CK is such a tempo-based hero because of that ultimate. And Geek Fam just didn't play to that strength earlier on. I think the moment when they pick up the heart, that's when you wanted to see Geek Fam really kick it up. But they just decided to play a farm game. Look, they've still got ways to come back in. They know the rush is happening. It's just dead.
oh, and Mac will have a bit of disconnection. FPS drop. Oh, God forbid. The Roshan, you've got a million things happening in this pit. No wonder.
I mean, I'm looking at Lena in what do you call that, showcase view. That's a lot of particles in that LSA.
Oh my.
So I that could drop the FPS.
Yeah, right.
I'm sitting at 60 though. I'm sitting at stable VSync 60, so I have no issues.
Don't need to show off, John. We all know you got a new PC recently. Well done.
Gotta feel good about myself sometimes, Mike. I don't have anything else going on for me.
No, you don't, John.
Oh God.
Adroit, it's time to set up that top lane. And it's still just a wonder as to how Geek Fam's going to stop this final push coming in. There's the blink coming out, but that leaves Raven with no buyback goal, John. We've seen this a bit before. It's I mean, I guess they have no other option because it's not like Raven can do anything without the blink. So they're going to try and go in with a smoke. This could be the final attempt coming out from Geek Fam. They want to jump the Drow first, though. That's the main target. They have gotten started on the tier 3, and Dubu has been caught out on the Ogre. Raven will jump in onto bot, but he's still alive and swapped out to safety. Now it's a 4v5 situation. Ryoya has jumped in by himself. Zephyr will swap him out, but that's his life gone. Zephyr taking one for the team, saving the Razor with about 70 HP. But it means nothing if you can't protect this final line of racks.
I mean, they've stolen 197 on Razor. It's still not enough to slow down Natsumi.
No, absolutely not. There you go,
That's it.
it has been called. Ryoya jumps in for one more celebration death. What he will get from Natsumi. Perhaps he will survive this time, but no, I was
Radiant team ban.
We haven't actually seen the Queen of Pain pop out in either of these days, so interesting ban to make for Geek fam. Adroit now.
Ten seconds remaining.
And that reserve time tick out.
5 seconds remaining.
Using a lot of it actually for this this final ban out before the next pick phase.
Yeah, they're really thinking about this one. Wonder what they have. I mean, okay, that's fair enough. Like the Venomancer, Cuckoo was pretty darn annoying, that hero. I can see why you'd ban it out. He was still finding farm. He was still really slowing down the game of their Sand King last time. So, them. How much of this draft are they going to repeat? Like they already shake it up a bit with a Rubik. Are they going to do even more with that? Like, or are they really going to shift out of their draft? Because so far, we've seen one hero change, right? And with Geek Fam, the puck support is really potent. We have seen it a lot today. And certainly does a lot of work. Really actually does pay off. It just escalates quite fast. Once you reach the late game, it just turns into a core. It's into that 3 core, 1 pseudo core mentality now. The Void does come out for it. So we're not going to be seeing anything silly. It's just straightforward Void. Interesting to pick it up against the Razor. You can kind of break the static link with your Time Walk. But it is a bit iffy because sometimes you use it to initiate, Razor shows up from nowhere and suddenly you're linked up, you can't break it immediately. So it really depends on how Adroit times your initiation here. Of course, they have to play around that Chronosphere typing, as we always mention. Just make sure you use that spell every single time, try to find some momentum for yourself, and you should be pretty good. You have some great spells to steal from Geek Fam as well that should help the cause in that Chronosphere. A lot of Puck spells help out. Razor spells help out. So you have a lot of value in this lineup from Adroit.
Certainly do. Geek Fam though, with their third pick, I mean, you already mentioned the Razor can kind of, like, I mean, the Void can kind of time walk away from the static link, but so if you get static link during the Chrono, which is a pretty big disaster for the Void, and Geek Fam looking to counter that Void even more. You could go for the Zephyr Shadow Demon. He, like I said, he's been doing a great job on the Shadow Demon. It does seem to kind of suit this lineup a bit. It looks like it may be a position for Puck as well, but never mind. It will be the Shadow Demon coming out from Zephyr. So now you have the disruption there, so at least you could waste basically most of the Chrono time if you do get it off on the Void. Adroit though, how do they respond to this? And more so, how are they going to take advantage of that Vengeful Aura, which we're all kind of waiting for at this point?
I really like the Shadow Demon pick. Again, as you mentioned, it fits into this lineup quite well. Gives you a lot of value with that Razor. Makes it so much easier to link onto someone for a longer time. Just allows you to really maximize his kit. So I do like that coming out there. Yeah, as you mentioned, we have to find out what exactly they want to do with it. I mean, even if you don't play off that aura, you are going to have a good time. The hero's just in a very good spot right now, which is great. I do love me a good support Venge. Wasn't really a big fan of core Venge. They go with a Centaur, so they've got a great way to engage and disengage, a great way to consistently break off that static link. And I think that really fixes up one of the major issues in this draft was that Void would just jump in and have his Time Walk on cooldown. You have the Centaur now who can basically pop that ult and have Void just kind of bail out. Things go dicey.
Yeah, absolutely. Geek Fam though, fourth pickup for them now. They aren't going to think too heavily. In fact, they go for the Beastmaster, and I like this pickup. So one of those heroes that's very hard to deal with. Of course, the Roar is very effective for the Void while he's in that Chrono. can only really stop that with the Lincolns. And they haven't really got a way to purge that stun off on the side of Adroit. Not right now, anyway. I wonder though, John, what is Adroit ending with? Right? Are we seeing an OD pop out? Are we seeing a TA or something like that? Like, it's got to be some kind of ranged core in the mid lane to take full advantage of that Vengeful Spirit. And of course, in conjunction with the Chrono, it can be quite devastating. But I thought the OD would be pretty decent in this matchup.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in that OD. You basically melt every single hero except really the Puck. So you're gonna have a good time there.
5 seconds.
You do have ways of kind of just stopping the Razor as well. If you stack with links anyone, just imprison them, run away, and the link's gone. So you have a lot that you can really just give to your team there in terms of utility. And, you know, it works outside of Chrono, as you mentioned, so you have a lot of value with that kind of pick. I think the laning phase is where you could see it a bit wonky, although, again, with what looks to be a support Puck, mid lane, Razor against OD is actually not too bad. You have ways of playing around it. I'd say it really depends on the player. For the most part, like, we have seen that go either way before. Surprisingly enough, you would reckon it's actually a bit more Razor favored, but it can go either way. So we'll see exactly what Adroit does do. If Geek Fam doesn't ban it out, I'm pretty sure we're going to see it down mid. Although, frankly, we haven't seen too much OD today, have we?
We have not. In fact, I don't believe we've seen it once. I think we might have seen it once yesterday, but yeah, it hasn't really been popping out very much.
Team pick.
Where's the Zeus ban coming out? Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't have expected that coming out from Adroit. And they go for the Naga Siren. I mean, that's, to me, pretty underwhelming. I'm not sure what the game plan is with that. I guess the song into the Chrono's nice. You can just stop the Void from doing anything. The song with the static link is always good. You can still a hell of a lot of damage. Adroit though, how do you respond to this?
OD. I think OD is still pretty solid here. Melts right through those illusions, melts right through Naga. If you want to go, they go with the Lash, which is fair enough. It still melts the illusions as well. And lets you melt towers a bit better. You have great impact. Even if you're stuck inside that Chronosphere, as long as you turned on your spell, you're going to be fine. So I see a lot of value with Adroit going for that Lush instead. It's a safer pick, mainly because we haven't seen the OD pop in too much. The Lush is just much more stable. It is interesting to see Geek Fam fall back to the Naga Siren. She really didn't change too much. I think she actually got a couple of nerfs overall, let's say in Agi gain and in her... Well, no, the talent is a bit better. Like, level 20 is minus 9 seconds on Ensnare. But her Agi gain does drop to 3.5 from 3.7 per level. It's been slightly tweaked. It's gonna be interesting to see whether or not her overall playstyle still suits this meta. Since Adroit is gonna be looking to keep it aggressive. We tend to see that with every time the Void's out, it actually doesn't farm as much as you'd expect. It looks for fights every 160 seconds past level 6, because that's the cooldown for Chronosphere. So that's the timer. 160 seconds Chrono, go back to farming, rinse and repeat. The Naga Siren tends to be a bit more static than that. It's farm until maybe you have a Diffusal and Yasha, or that's the tendency, then run down the supports. We'll see which one really starts to pick up here. Geek Fam does look quite potent. I do like this draft a lot more this time. It is counteracting that Void much more than their last draft was counteracting the Drow. So you've got to watch out if you're Natsumi. You have to make sure Cuckoo's far away or Sephir's far away when you're jumping into these fights, because if they're not far away, or if you're right there and you don't catch them in the Chronosphere, you are going to have a very bad time in that Chrono.
Fair point. It's gonna be an interesting matchup to say the least. Adroit versus Geek Fam, game number 2. Of course, TNC would be sitting there watching right now, very nervous as to what the outcome of this game is gonna be. But we'll get it started.
Prepare for battle.
Looks like they may run another tri-lane with Bok this time around. So, Adroit looking to try and shut down the safe lane of Geek Fam once again. Raven I'm sure he doesn't want to experience that anymore. We'll see where they lane this Naga Siren.
Have a little humility.
Looks like he will be going up to the safe lane again. If they do run a tri-lane, I don't know if Raven's going to really be able to catch up. He really struggled last time around, and Naga Siren's another one of those heroes where if you have a bad start, it just seems like you farm forever and you really never get anywhere.
Yeah, we have seen that multiple times before, of course. It's just the classic Naga Siren story when it does happen. But I feel like when you have a player like Raven and, you know, you have the timings he hits, have the playstyle he has, you can certainly make it work. You're just gonna look out for the timing on the Diffusal and Yasha. And from there, you should be able to at least hunt down the supports, play in the opposing jungle much freer. That's the tendency we see with successful Naga Sirens. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's what Raven will opt to do.
Well, two bannerines for either side. A very even start between these two. Once again, looks like Natsumi for now has been left by himself on the Void, so they have some confidence that he will be able to keep his farm up. Still not going to be very easy up against the Beastmaster of Cuckoo. Beastmaster kind of famous for making it extremely hard to get in range to get those last hits. Of course, he can just abuse those balls to get those denies off pretty easily as well. Still, it does look like they are rotating down CML, so they aren't going to keep this tri-lane up, which will allow Raven to actually get some farm up on this Naga Siren. Bok will, of course, try a bit, but I don't know how effective he can be against the Naga. Of course, up in the mid lane, we'll see Ryo up against Mac on the Lesh. Ryo had a pretty good laning stage last time. See if he can replicate that performance this time around. Should be a little bit harder up against Mac on this Lesh. I mean, it's just a completely different kind of matchup. Interesting thing to note as well, Mac has actually gone for the Lightning Storm build, and that's something we haven't seen in a very, very long time.
Happy for you.
Yeah, it's definitely fallen out of favor, especially when you compare it to the Diabolic Edict split Earth build. I think there is still some value in it. It does allow you to secure safer farm from afar, and you really don't want to go too close to a Razor. So it does feel like Mac is just playing it safe, making sure that he's not leaving himself open to any sort of bad times in lane.
He's certainly allowing him to free farm this mid lane for now. He's 7 last hits, 5 denies.
Invisibility.
It's going to be very annoying for the Razor to keep copying these lightning strikes as well. Ryo will grab a bit of an Invis rune, trying to go for a quick static link. Will only be 23 damage, but it still definitely helps out the cause. Meanwhile, bot Natsumi farming decently, but Cuckoo is trading very well as well. Neither side really going at it with each other too much. Geek, they don't really have much kill potential with this combination of the Shadow Demon and Beastmaster. Not against the Void anyway, so they'll probably just sit back, try and get those denies off and just keep farming up. I suppose Zephyr could get some kills with the Shadow Poison stacks, but still not going to be very easy up against that Void.
Yeah, it's just gonna be pretty much a farming lane here from both sides, unless there's a massive misstep, but I don't think you're gonna be expecting that too much. It is gonna be safer. Still, both sides just playing it safe so far. 3 minutes in, no first blood just yet.
Zubu, it does get pretty low. Boomy gets pretty low himself, but neither one really commits. Meanwhile, though, Raven is farming very well on the Naga Siren. 15 last hits, 2 denies. And speaking of, we do have the first blood at bot lane where CML does go down to Zephyr. moment I look away, looks like it was the disruption and shadow poisons, and of course the ball slow from the Beastmaster got the job done. And Dubu, we'll see, he does give his life away to the neutral creeps, just wants to deny himself off. But what I was trying to say, John, is Raven is farming well this time around this Naga Siren.
Yeah, definitely a better time for him this time around. You're not seeing that massive pressure coming out from Adroit to keep him down. He's having a better time for sure. He's still not slowing down the opposing team too much. I mean, Bach is slightly ahead in terms of last hits by just a bit.
Zephyr now going down at the bot lane. Natsumi picks up that kill. Apparently there are going to be a lot of kills in this bot lane, so we'll keep an eye on it. Cuckoo now going to be chased down as well, but CML went throughout the stun. Natsumi though would love to get some lucky bashes going for himself, but isn't quite getting there. In fact, he's copying a fair bit of harassment from Cuckoo. Looks like CML though, going to be chased down by Zephyr. Zephyr should be able to snag this bounty away from CML, but instead it looks like it will be denied off, and CML is going to cop a fair bit of damage from the shadow poisons. Not enough to kill though. Speaking of a lot of damage, Cuckoo does deal a lot towards Natsumi, who only has one tango left to keep himself in this lane, but it looks like they will head off to the shrine instead.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, you know, your mid laner is probably going to complain about that for a bit, although looks like they did pop the top shrine anyway, so he's already had his refill. Upset about that.
Look at Cuckoo's farm right now, 29 and 13. The man's having a fantastic time on this Beastmaster. They will try to stun him up with that magic missile, but you don't really have the damage output there yet. The Cuckoo will be able to just maintain this lead in this lane. Natsumi farming okay with 22 and 3. These Beastmasters getting a bit too much, can be a bit scary later on. Still though, looking back up to that top lane, Bach, he's been having a great old time on the Centaur. Raven though is at 32 and 5, so he's having an even better time. Bach trying his best to just trade farm. There's just not much he can do to slow Raven down. Looks like Boomy will come back in, throws a Fade Bolt out, but it won't really lead to anything. So bot lane, CML going to end up going down to Zephyr once again. Mac will rotate over though on the Lash. They are going to chase Zephyr down a bit. Mac pretty low on mana though, but it will not matter as Zephyr is even lower in HP. He tries to find Natsumi. He won't get so lucky, but Dubu will be able to jump in there and clean up the kills.
Yeah, that's overall a bit of a win for Geek Fam. They do slow down that Faceless Void once more, and they are finding just a bit of a better trade there. Again, just keeping this Void in check is going to hurt him a lot. Like, once he hits 6, he has to be successful with his first chrono to really start building up, but Natsumi just doesn't have much to play with right now.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Cuckoo going to start diving after Bach, who just TP'd into the bot lane. See Boomy rotate over as well. Now, well, there's the disruption coming out. There'll still be no roar available. In fact, there is on Cuckoo, but he won't commit it yet. Well, maybe they won't even need it, but no, there it is. The roar comes up, the damage is there from Zephyr, and they find the kill, and now Boomy as well coming down to the bot lane. So 2 more kills going to the lane of Geek Fam, and they are going to be able to force down this T1 tower very, very early on.
Yeah, that's again a nice set of wins going for Geek Fam. They pretty much are just finding every single thing they want. While they force out all these fights, they continuously buy space for Raven to get their farm up, inching closer towards that Yasha now. And once that's up, it's just a bit of a ride towards that Diffusal. And then Nagasaran just kind of gets silly. You start hunting down supports, you just start melting these squishier heroes, and you snowball from there.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, but John, Adroit, they have a mango tree up. That is a very scary tree to have.
Oh.
Boomy, bot lane, going down or almost going down. There will be a hoof stomp there onto Cuckoo. They do find Boomy in the end. Zephyr will be the one to pick up the kill. It looks like Cuckoo should be able to get out of here rather safely. Mac even rotating in to try and get this Beastmaster. The Cuckoo, now he's a bit trapped up, gets slowed down, and the Pulse Nova will just tick him out. Zephyr, he will be able to get out on the Shadow Demon, but they lost that one core that they had at the bot lane, and that's not what they wanted on the side of Geek fam.
Definitely not. It is a bit of a loss, but again, you are forcing responses around the map, which does free up other parts of the map for everyone else to farm. Like Dubu now has some space to try to hit his level 6, try to get some gold going for himself, and slowly build up as well.
Bok now being chased down by Ryoya. Won't lead to a kill though. The top lane looks like they will find Natsumi on the Void. Dubu was able to get the sides off, and Raven just cleaned up with the mirror images. See the rotations now coming up top. They want to try and at least force down that T1 and perhaps apply some pressure. Raven for Naga Siren. Raven though will just rotate back into the jungle. He won't really mind too much. He can farm this jungle very quickly with that Riptide and the illusions. And now a Stampede coming out to save CML on the Vengeful Spirit down at bot lane.
Yeah, I guess if you're not planning on using that spell anytime soon, might as well at least save your support. I suppose.
They won't have it for the team fight that's about to happen up top though. Could be concerning, but they'll clean up the T1. Disruption will be there from Zephyr. They're still moving forward, but here comes Ryoya. Dream Call now is there as well. That's a lot of damage coming out from Dubu. They've got Boomy on the Rubik, and Bok, he's so close to going down, but he tries to go after the Razor. It will not work out for them. And that Stampede been pretty darn good at that moment. In fact, they may even find more on the side of Geek Cam as they do get CML on the Venge. And it's a 3-for-0 situation there for Geek fam. Adroit, they do find the T1. Was it necessary to lose 3 heroes? I don't believe so.
No, definitely not. It's a very different game compared to game for Adroit. 3-10, a 1k lead for Geek fam at 11 minutes in. It's looking a bit rough for Adroit. They've certainly got to start finding stuff off the map. They've got to make use of this Chronosphere, but it looks like Natsumi is going to wait out until he grabs a Maelstrom first before going to commit that spell.
Cuckoo will get lifted up by Boomy. It won't be long enough, but Natsumi does have a Chrono available up at that top lane if he wants to commit it. He's still though. Cuckoo is fairly tanky as well. They'll commit the Stampede. Natsumi, he will end up committing that Chrono. They should have the damage output here to take Cuckoo out, and it looks like they do. Still though, there are Ryoya rotating back in, going after Boomy. Who stop will be there though. Here comes Dubu, the Dream Call straight onto the Void. That's the main target they want to go for, and with that Dream Call, he can't really time walk out. That's going to be well worth it for the side of Geek fam. In fact, they may find more in the form of CML thanks to Zephyr, and Boomy is a sitting duck right now on the Rubik, and he's gone as well. A 3-for-1 trade. Geek fam finding the better trade once again.
Yeah, they're really just working these fights to their favor quite well. I mean, Zephyr was just chasing around that Venge all by himself. Just using that ult, forcing out the swaps, dropping 5 Shadow Poison stacks, and, you know, that kills literally any support at this point in the game. So that did take away the Venge from that last fight as well, which meant you didn't have the swap, you didn't have the stun, and that just costed them that exchange. So Geek fam, they're finding the right spots to be in at the right time, and they are certainly working this map much better than Adroit is right now. That was the first Chrono we have seen as well, if I recall right. So at the very least, Natsumi does manage to get that spell out. Still not the most maximally effective use of that spell, but hey, a kill's a kill.
This mango tree just remains standing, by the way, John, on the high ground of the Radiant. I'm kind of surprised with the positioning of this tree. I thought they would have maybe gone for that Roshan the whole Roshan tree, but I suppose this one still gives you the vision over the Roshan entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you vision on that entrance. More importantly, it gives you a lot more vision as to whether or not you're going to be ganked up. So it does have a lot of utility there. And that's a lot of mangoes that was on the courier, so man, that kind of makes me hungry.
Mac will finish off his Yules now. Leshrak, Geek fam though, have smoked up. They understand where Bok is. They're going to make their way straight to him. They've got the Roar available as well, so this should be a very, very easy kill to take. He commits the Stampede, but the Dream Core is way too quick. And he has help coming in, but it's not going to be quick enough as Mac, he does not want to be there right now. They lose Bok and they lose Mac. Adroit falling apart in this game number 2 as Geek fam now have a 4k net worth lead. They have both outposts, I believe, and we are about to hit that 15-minute mark. So all the XP and all the gold will go Geek fam's way.
Yeah, that's a massive swing going the way of Geek fam. Just gives them a lot more to work with. Again, slowing down Adroit's progression, slowing down just how much Adroit can fight back with. And the aggression's not over. They're playing on the opposite side of the map here, down at bot lane. Raven and Divu just getting control up onto Natsumi.
Oh, they got the silence on. Raven may have to commit the song, and does. He just wants to get out of here safely. That's exactly what he does do. Just annoy Natsumi a bit. Just go straight back to farming for Raven. Cuckoo, meanwhile, looks like he is starting to set up on another target, which is Boomy, but Boomy is already out of there. And meanwhile, Dubu, in a peculiar situation down at the bot lane, looks like he may just go for a quick creep skip, creep skip, and then just TP out of there. I don't know why I couldn't say that.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Or maybe not.
It's fine, we all struggle.
There we go.
Well, Raven's got passive gold now, although I'm sure he's gonna have to pass that off to someone. Philosopher's Stone.
He already has.
It's on Zephyr.
Given to. Yeah, Zephyr has it in the backpack though. Doesn't care for it yet, but now he'll put it in, replace the Observer what that you have. Meanwhile, Adroit, I mean, they're sticking as a team, but when you've got a Leshrak, you want to push down those lanes very, very quickly, and that's not exactly what's been happening. The farm on the Void Natsumi hasn't been anything to write home about. In fact, they do jump in Dream Call, but an immediate chrono. He still can't run away, but he's just kind of running up and down right now. Still a nice swap, but he does go down regardless. Now they roar up another in the form of Dubu going down. Mac's been lost as well. Bok trying to control up the backlines of Geek fam, but it will not matter as Ryoya is going to be on an ultra kill on the Razor. Complete domination from Geek fam. They are not struggling whatsoever in these engagements at all.
It's in stark contrast to that first game where it was a bit of a rough time for them. This time they've got the reins on this match. They understand what they have to do, and they're doing it right. You know, you have Ryoya 10-0 right now. He's in a really good spot. He's just been on fire on his hero. Just getting the right targets every single time. A much better spread in game 1. Adroit, they've got to find something here. They've got to have Natsumi land those bigger chronos. I mean, that last chrono was pretty okay, but he couldn't do anything in it. There was just nothing he could do. And it just kind of costs you, because that's another 160 seconds where you don't have that spell. And that's a moment when Geek fam can just run around doing whatever they want.
Again, take control of those outposts. Cuckoo, has he found a target? Oh, he saw Boomy, but he won't be in range for the Roar. Nevertheless, they will go ahead, take the T1 tower, and just really surgical here from Geek fam. It just seems to be, it seems like it's going to be very, very hard for Adroit to catch up at this rate. And Natsumi just finding himself so far behind on that Void. It's make matters worse, now you've got a Naga Siren with the Diffusal, and it looks like they're going to lose Bok as well.
Oh yeah.
Though Zephyr does go down up at the top lane, so Matt does find a support pick off. It's still not the kill they really would have wanted to trade off for their Centaur.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that point with Ravenwood. He's got his Manta style, he's got his Diffusal. That's it. He just does Naga things now. So he's going to be able to melt a lot of heroes by himself if there's no backup. And you really have to watch out for where Raven decides to go. They're going to get a push going on that 2 down bot. The fort does come out, so that should force them back, but I don't think that tower has too much life in it left if Raven's going to be hanging around down here.
Well, it looks like the rest of Geek fam are coming down as well. Cuckoo will slowly chip away out. It's very easy tier 2 to be taken.
Bottom tower has fallen.
They won't be more though, they'll go back to farming, I'm sure, as Raven has queued up a heart.
Radiant's middle tower.
And once that heart's up, I don't see any way to kill off this Naga Siren. So that's going to be a pretty big concern for Adroit. Natsumi is still desperately trying to get that farm up, but his next item appears to be a BKB. That's not exactly the DPS item you would hope for this Void.
Definitely not. He does need a way of getting control back in these fights, so I can't blame him for going for that BKB. I'm not sure if that's going to be doing enough, especially since Geek Fam is just going to be going around playing aggressive now. So even if you do have that BKB, if you're caught out anyway, it really doesn't matter.
How all's coming out, Bok experiencing some connection issues. Ryoya looks like he's going for the butterfly up next. So feeling like he can just afford to just go straight butterfly, and I feel like that is true. He probably could just do so. Getting pretty close to the Eagle Song as well. Raven has almost enough gold for the Reaver now, just about 100 gold away. And the Droid, I mean, they've just got to play the delay game at this rate. Nothing else they could really do about this game.
Pretty much. Like, if they hold out, they could get big enough for me to try to fight back the opposing team. I just don't know if he's gonna get enough time. He's level 14 right now. Compare that to Raven at 17. You compare that to Ryoya at 18. It's just such a massive gap in what their skills can do for them at this point in the game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Going after that mid tier 2 now, just a bit of chip damage from the creep waves. Ryoya is setting up for it though by taking out this creep wave from the Radiant side.
Invisibility!
Here I am.
It's like Dubu's just going straight into an Aghanim Scepter on the puck. It's going to make their life so much harder. The Raven. Invised up. Could go for a big song here if he really wants.
Tower is under attack.
Will opt to not do anything. Rather just go back to farming in the jungle.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Have a look at that win probability, and well, 87% in the way of Geek fam so far. Has been climbing slightly up for Adroit as time goes on. Net worth has pretty much been their way the whole time, and as you can see, the XP is heavily their way as well.
I go.
Pretty big difference in the levels, as you pointed out before. Just no way that Adroit can try and force a team fight right now.
Yeah, they've just got to take it slow, some farm up, and hope you can try to find a pick off. on Geek Fam. It's just so hard to get that done. While they try to play this farm game, Raven is just gonna get bigger and bigger as well. He's just about 500 gold away from the heart now. Once that's up, I don't think you have the answer to this Naga Siren yet. It's gonna be way too tanky for what you have. Like the Leshrac could try to melt, but I don't think you even have enough mana to burn down that Naga.
You got a Blink Dagger up on Zephyr now as well, so he's got nice ways of initiating into these team fights as that Shadow Demon if he needs to. Now a full heart is available on Raven, so he's sitting at 3.4k HP for now. Looks like he'll go for the butterfly next. There's just not much item progression at all on the side of Adroit, apart from maybe Natsumi, who does have the BKB up now. He will go for the Mjolnir next, and it looks like they actually want to try to go for a team fight now with the smoke. Problem is they are going to this heart as well as a butterfly now on Ryoya. He just picked it up. Team fight may not work out very well for Adroit, as the rest of Geek Fam are pretty much up this top lane. Cuckoo does get swapped in. They're trying to go for Beast Marks. The first, he does get disrupted though, so he can get that roll off before he dies. There's the Chrono, but an immediate roll straight onto Natsumi, and the Chrono was not great anyway. Max life's been lost. Now they'll go up the bottom. The Centaur, CML will be next, and it is just an absolute massacre. Natsumi, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's just a very, very awkward time for them to try and go for that team. That disruption there from Zephyr, saving Cuckoo long enough so he could wait out the Chrono and then go for the Roar onto Natsumi. Adroit just could not get anything out of that.
It's a large part in it's a largely a draft issue as well, right? We talked about this from the drafting phase. They picked and they left these options on the table. It was always going to be a hard time for Natsumi to land that perfect Chronosphere. They can't take 5v5s unless Geek Fam really decides to clump up together. 5v5s will actually always favor Geek Fam because Void won't be a hero once that Chrono is expended. He's just not much of a hero. So you lose out on a massive amount of that, and there's a health up.
Booming. Gonna run away. Aghanim Scepter now gonna be up for the puck. Of course, the Edge is now gonna be available on the Naga Siren, and Raven will go ahead and take that mid-tier 2 tower. There is only one outer tower outstanding now.
Radiant's top tower is under
Geek,
attack.
go ahead and clean that up as well. They could just force the high ground.
Radiant's
I think that's exactly what they do. They know the Chrono is still down, and it is for another 50 seconds.
Yeah, you've got no way of stopping this kind of push coming out from Geek Fam. They've got all their spells up and ready to go. And Adroit still has to play the waiting game with Natsumi.
They should have Chrono up for the next high ground defense at the least.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Just trying to wait to see if somebody overextends down the high ground. They could just send Naga Illusion straight into the towers though, as they do have a Shadow Demon. And it looks like that's exactly what they're planning to do, just slow play this with the illusions.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Luckily, Matt can clear them out with the Lesh. And it looks like Natsumi is in a bit of an awkward situation here. That's TP out in the Dire side base. He was creep skipping to try and avoid this mid lane being pushed in. Won't be too effective though, as they have got another creep wave there. But they will just wait. got the Mind Breaker now on Ryoya, so you've got that instant silence. As long as he gets that hit off onto the Void, you could force out the BKB very early on from Natsumi.
Yeah, it's rough right now for Adroit. They can't push outside their base. You're really just stuck here in the high ground clearing out these waves, which really slows down their farm rate. And you're looking at an 18k deficit, 7 to 24, 28 minutes in. They've got to find an opening somehow, but Geek Fam's just not giving them that opportunity.
They'll just
They have a butterfly up now.
Yeah, butterfly up. That should be cue for Raven to start moving in with that Aegis. And I just don't see how you stop them. You've got two butterflies on the side of Geek Fam, and Ags on the puck. I suppose we'll find out how they intend to. In fact, it looks like they have found a target in the form of the Rubik. Well, stuck there for a while. He does break the link. It's going to be a very easy pick off to start this high ground push. Buyback will be available though on Boomy. But that tier 3 is not going to last very long. And Raven will go ahead and basically take it out by himself. The fortification will be forced out. But Adroit, are you really going to try and take this team fight? All the damage being placed on Bok. CML forced to swap him out very early on. The buyback is there from Boomy, though. The side of Geekham don't really care right now. They've still got the Aegis on Raven to use. This should be at least one ranks being taken by Geekfam, but could probably go for more straight afterwards. And Snare will be there on Boomy. Send the illusions in. And poor Boomy, he might actually die for these. Box forced to jump in and hoof stop them up. Raven will clean up that bot racks. Still holding onto the Aegis, still has the song. Absolutely no reason to back off for Geekfam. They may opt to play it safe. And it looks like they are actually going to return and make sure they get all those boundaries first.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Just no rush here from Geek Fam. They've got all the scaling in the world. They could just keep up. They're under no sort of time pressure here to end the game. Adroit, they're just being slowly starved away in their base. 24k net worth for Geek Fam. It's 31 minutes in, 7 to 25 now. And it's just Geek Fam's game to play. They're just taking their time, trying to build up, trying to give themselves an easier time in that high ground. And Adroit is just never in position to try to get that big chronosphere up or push outside the base. They just don't have the chance to.
But even if you get that chronosphere, I don't see the damage output.
Yeah, it's lacking. Like, Natsumi is trying, but it's not quite there. He's been stuck in that BKB for a while. He does have his Hyperstone up, and I believe that is the Mjolnir. Yeah, so the Mjolnir is up, and that's great, but up against a Naga Siren with 3.6k HP and a Butterfly, it certainly doesn't feel like that's going to be enough.
Oh, Zephyr spamming Shadow Poists in that top lane. Nothing wrong with that, John. Just a 1 second.
Oh, that level 20 talent is sick.
Gold is a great conductor.
Geek Fam though still slow playing this. The Aegis has expired. Raven may just wait out the next Roshan, but we're going to find that in about a minute and 15 when that does pop up. Double damage will be there for the Naga if she wishes to take it, and Raven will. And it looks like Raven intends on getting a Scythe of Vice up next.
Just watching Suffer do that is kind of stupid. Oh god.
Well, they're going to be able to push these lanes up.
No. And that's just one hero. That's just a support shoving it back in, by the way. Just the support. Perfectly fine. Look at that. Look at that. At that range. At that range, it's the range again, Mike. There's just no punishment for that.
Oh. I see no problems here, John.
Oh, well, they might find him.
Zephyr. Smoked up.
Oh,
they
they
just
see him.
need
They see
any
him.
kill they can get right now, but this could be bad for them. They lift him up, split up, they will find the kill. Geek Fam will not attempt to punish. And with that, they go immediately try and take an outpost for themselves. They'll grab one, but look at Geek Fam. They're following up now. Adroit do spot them out.
Oh.
The Naga illusions will give the vision. Now, how do you initiate into this? Ryoya, he'll get started, but he does get lifted up. Now, the Stampede, who are you going after? Raven, he's already found Bok, although nice swap comes out from CMO just in the nick of time. But Bok, he does manage to blink away.
What?
Meanwhile, Mac, hold up, no way out of this for the Leshrac, and he's gone. And it looks like Dubu is looking for more. Like Raven ends up finding CML as well. They do find another. Umi just trying to run away from this pesky puck. Won't matter though, the top lane is now being pushed in by the Naga Siren. In fact, never mind, because Raven has gone to the mid lane.
Radiant's middle tower.
What is Raven up to?
Visibility.
He's hunting?
Natsumi?
Is this... What is this?
The illusion. Not
Radiant's
going to scan out
middle
Natsumi
tower
quite
is
yet,
under
though
attack.
now
Oh.
he may have spotted him.
Oh.
Natsumi's very scared. The pings
Oh.
come out, though they know he's there. Raven, he doesn't
Oh my, oh my.
Yeah, now he does. Uh-oh, there's the Cyber Mines coming out with those illusions. Oh my.
Oh boy. Just like that. Whew. How do you fight against that? As a droid right now, like, that is their safe lane core. Who is supposed to be carrying them, man. It's just not adding up. And he buys back, but nothing's happening anymore.
It's a weird buyback to make. The Roshan's going to be taken now by Geek Fam.
Oh,
Of course,
when
there'll
did we lose the
be no contestation.
Roshan has fallen to the tower.
Geek Fam, who do you give the Aegis to? They'll give it to Ryoya. They don't even care for the cheese, but Zephyr will go pick it up. Got an Eye of Skadi now up on Ryoya as well on that Razor, as well as a Satanic. 33k net worth lead for Geek Fam. Dota Plus has completely given up on a Adroit. There's a 100% chance that Geek Fam win this game apparently.
That's a rarity. You rarely see 100%, but no take backs here for Dota Plus. Better stick to that.
Top tower is under
We'll see. Ryoya just taking down the tier 3 top tower. It will go down. The repair kit doesn't do enough to get it up. And now the range rack's easily taken by Ryoya. Got the chrono, you've got to try and initiate on something here, but it's just hard to know what, especially if you don't have buyback available.
has fallen.
So now one lane of racks left for Geek Fam. Split Earth will come out, Ryoya. He does cop the hoop stomp, but look how tanky this man is. He just keeps going at that tier 3.
Radiant's middle
Has the Aegis anyway, so he doesn't really care. Dubu gonna jump in with a Dream Pod. He found 3 of them straight off the bat. Now Ryoya comes in as well. Where's the damage? They have it on Natsumi. He's gone. That's a dieback on the Void. Boomy goes down as well. Now they clean up Mac on the ledge, and the GG's already been called. There was just really no contestation from the side of Adroit. Now a song comes out.